So it's been like what, a day or two now. I still have thoughts on Gameoverse, right? Which doesn't quite roll off the tongue now that I think about it, but Gameoverse. Um what people have been saying is completely correct. First of all, there's just like a lot of people on Twitter that are just being overly critical of it, but they kind of have a point that should not be ignored. Uh the Gameoverse has a problem. Well, it feels like a genetically engineered indie show, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to say it, but the extremely good animation has been kind of plundered on it, if that makes sense. Like it's been wasted. It's been wasted on it. What else do I say? It's There's something called therapy speak, right? And I feel like Steven Universe has had a huge like negative impact on everything because I'm getting it's like how like in the movie industry they've been just doing superheroes for like a decade and everyone got sick of it and now they're not doing it anymore. Um, but I feel like there's a huge problem with like everyone trying to make this show that has an element of mystery, lovable characters, and then like everyone makes the same type of show now, And Amazing Digital Circus is a good example, and I do mean a good example because it's a good show, but I mean, it's good at what it does, but like it's kind of the quintessential modern TV show, modern animated show that I'm talking about, where there's like an element of mystery. There's like there's like Tumblr writing, if that makes sense, like the therapy speak that I'm going to get into. There's mediocre to decent voice acting in it. Uh, Let me just get right into it. The therapy speak, right? Someone mentioned this on Twitter, and I must have actually tuned it out in some way because I I have a belief system to where it's okay to sometimes turn your brain, like unless it's blatantly offending you, like spitting in your face as a TV show. I feel like it's okay to turn your brain off when watching some things from time to time. So I must have tuned it out, but there was this moment in the pilot where it was like Kit, the main girl that everyone was lusting after before the show came out. She was breaking down or whatever, and the little dinosaur guy with the weird voice, was like, hey Kit, you cheer up, Kit. We still got work to do," and it's kind of exactly what I'm talking about. Like, we can never just have like an indie sitcom or an indie movie or like an indie, comedy show. Everything has to be like this like Owl House, Steven Universe, Amphibia, like element of mystery, cast of characters, uh, usually a painfully short fucking like TV show. And that's another thing that I honestly I don't know how many episodes it's gonna get, but I'm calling it now, right? Game Overs is gonna have a painfully short fucking like it's gonna be like 8 episodes a season, I bet. 8 episodes a pop. And I don't get why like shows do that nowadays. Like give me a full season. Give me like 25 episodes like they used to do. Like just keep it going. Keep it going. Like give us filler, give us do what you got to do. And a lot of these shows can I'm getting kind of off topic, but kind of not at the same time. A lot of these shows can do with like a lot of filler, fleshing things out a little bit more, getting us attached to the world, right? And here is when I bring up Murder Drones, right? The fucking travesty that was, even though I kind of liked watching it. It was really poorly paced. The pacing was all over the fucking place. The first 3 episodes and like the episodes after that don't even feel like the same show, right? Just halfway through, a complete tonal shift, complete pacing change, right? Now we're doing a completely different thing. Because before, like people realize, like the main guys figured out what Sin was and what she was doing or whatever, and like we're dealing with her and getting ready to prepare for her, to stand ready for her arrival or whatever. Uzi's plan was just kind of fuck around and see what was happening just a little bit, kill all the humans or whatever. Like, I'm getting off topic. I just completely veered off topic. And my point though with Murder Drones is that it could have done with a lot more filler to flesh out the episodes. Because I mean, am I expected to care when like the the jock guy and the popular girl show up at the end to help fight sin or anything like that? Am I expected to care at all? Ah, what else? What else do I have to say about Gameoverse though? Which Gameoverse, whatever. Um, it's not very interesting. I mentioned this in my last video, and that Amazing Digital Circus had a slow pilot, in my opinion, even though it did better at establishing what the fuck they were supposed to be doing. But it's kind of, like, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like it's going to turn into anything interesting like Circus was going to be, you know? Because you could feel the potential, even though it was a slow pilot, you could feel the potential with all the characters and what they were doing, right? Like you could feel what the show is going to be about. But with Gameoverse, we haven't learned what is happening and why. Like who was that guy that took Kid in at the beginning? Why do they live in a game world? Um, why does it just go kablooey whenever like someone wins a game? You know, it spawned a bunch of funny memes, I guess, but still. Uh, what else? What else? What else? Because I read a bunch. I've written a bunch of shit down in my notepad. My thoughts on it, like my new thoughts on it. Because I already covered this show. I haven't mentioned. I haven't talked enough about the therapy speak, like the shit where everyone just yells out everything they were thinking ever. Like needs to stop because I feel like it's kind of dumbing down our audiences. Um, like oh, I did it because I loved you. I did it because I was afraid you'd leave me again. Like you don't need to like trust that your audience has a brain. You know, like you don't need to just like you don't need to you don't need to well, I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. Like, my brain's kind of freezing up because I'm focusing on another thing. Another thing I would like to bring up is that the kids show fucking situation. Like, everyone keeps calling it a kids show, and that's because it is, right? Like, that's because it's a fucking show for children. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'll get into that later in the video, but like, not that there's anything wrong with that. But I don't get why no one can admit that. Like it's this colorful little fucking world with a plot that isn't very deep, no mature themes, no like anything that makes it a show for adults. You can still show it to kids, but at the same time you can't because they swear, right? Like they not even like damn or hell or anything like that. I mean, Kit says like dick once or twice or something like that. And I've seen people defending it because people are really insecure about whether or not the show is for children, even though like there's nothing wrong with that. It's really stupid in my opinion. But like it's like it's for kids, but then like they just swear. Like I don't get why you don't go all in on making it for children and or for everyone, I guess, right? But because like I mean Owl House, like it was no, that's not a good example. Regular show, right? That's a show for children, but it's also a show that like adults can always sit down and enjoy because it's funny. They tackle some like mature shit from time to time. Um, they like there's nothing in there that feels like it's just talking down to you, if that makes sense. And with that therapy speak, it feels like I'm being talking down, like spoken down to a very certain extent. Like, oh, you don't think I'm smart enough to just figure out why the characters feel what they feel? Oh, I did it because I loved you. I did it because I was afraid you'd leave. Like the thing I feel like that separates a kids show from an adult show is not just the themes, not just the fucking I don't know the gore or something. Um, it's how they convey the story. Okay, if they have the characters like if they leave it up to the audience to figure out why the characters do and say what they do and say, instead of just shouting it out in one go like a fucking Blitz from Hell of a Boss that one time. You know, I feel like people would say it's like it's more of an adult show, right? I mean, the premise doesn't even have to be super deep. Like again, regular shows a kids show, but adults could always sit down and enjoy it. Like, and that's perfectly fine. But I feel like the reason that was is because it also didn't exactly like talk down to you by doing that therapy speak shit that like Steven Universe and Owl House and every animated like show for teens and kids and shit has done since like Steven Universe, right? How I hate that show. Hmm. But uh, what else do I have to say about Gameoverse? Oh yeah, I don't get why like everyone doesn't respect kids shows at all, right? It's okay to admit that your shit is for kids. It's about a cat girl and her little fucking, you know, little friend, you know, little pals from kid games and stuff, going around the universe and saving planets from destruction. Um, like it's fine. Like the premise isn't particularly mature. Uh, it doesn't. You know, here's a good example: Has Been Hotel, right? It takes place in hell. The premise is it has a lot of potential. It had a lot of potential. Like people, you know, who's worthy of redemption, redeeming people, right? It had a lot of potential. Like honestly, the Helliverse as a whole is nothing but missed potential. Honestly, let's be real. But like that is a good premise that like anyone could get into. Like that's an interesting premise that anyone could get locked into. It's like I would dare say that that's a premise for adults, even though a premise alone isn't like, you know, what dictates what's for kids and what isn't. Uh, but the issue, the reason why everyone says that's a show for children, well, teenagers or stunted adults or something like that, because again, it's like it's this kids show, has therapy speak, the like the anime, like not the animation. The animation's, you know, fine, it's pretty good, but like everything is for kids. Like there's nothing really for adults to latch onto, but it's meant to be approachable to like stunted adults or children. But you also can't show it to little kids because there's a bunch of swearing and sex, and there's season 1, episode 4 to look forward to. But I'm getting off topic. With Has Been, the premise is good. Like it's for everyone, but everyone calls it a kids show because how they go about conveying that premise, right? But with Gameoverse, there's nothing that's for adults, right? And I see it on Twitter. People will be like, "Oh, it's not a kid show. She says dick literally 3 times, and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all." Um, it's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, I don't see why people don't accept that their show is for children. Like, I don't like. I think it's stupid to be bent out of shape about that. Like, I genuinely think it's a dumb waste of time and mental energy to be bent out of shape about like, you know, oh, it's for kids. Like, who gives a shit? I know we're in a culture now where like everything's cringe, and if you enjoy anything, that's cringe too. But like, who cares if it's for children? Just accept it. But it is for children, you know, and that's fine. But here's my next complaint about Game Overs. It kind of feels like they just kind of had an interesting like subversion and then didn't plan a story around it. Like, what am I watching? You know, like they were just like, oh well, instead of just having like a heroes versus the villain, we'll have kind of a heroes versus heroes situation where they have to stop them from defeating the villain. You know, and like I don't. I'm kind of confused about that because like, how's that going to work? Is the villain just supposed to win? Because if the villain wins, like, assumedly the world becomes a shithole, right? And that's I don't know if it's that deep because it's a game, but like what happens at the end of the day? Like, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. Like it just kind of felt like they're like, oh, well, what if the heroes have to like fight other heroes and basically be the bad guys? But the bad guys of the show, the entire show, are actually the like working on the side of the good guys until they aren't. Uh, like, okay, what's interesting about that? Like, am I supposed to just watch that for another 7 episodes now because they're probably just going to have a really short season? Because this show feels like the quintessential, you know, modern animated show where it has to have 8, 9 episodes and then it's done forever. But I don't know. I don't know. The premise again, it just feels like they were like, oh well, that's new. Never seen a heroes versus heroes kind of thing. It's always usually heroes going to stop a villain, and that's the reason we have that is because that's like universally relatable in some way. The villain, like everyone has a villain of some sort in their lives, whether it be inside or outside of their own minds, right? But like, how am I supposed to relate? Because like the heroes versus villains plot, it's not. It doesn't need to be as boring as it is in like superhero movies where it's like, I'm gonna defeat you. Not if I have anything to say about it. And then like they fight, and I'm stronger than you, so I win. Like a lot of the times, villains can represent some very like twisted ideas. They can represent like different like concepts. relating to people and how they navigate the world, and it makes their like execution satisfactory, right? Or sometimes a villain is just such an asshole you want to see them get their get beat, right? But like what either way, it's like a hero's journey, fight the villain that's relatable in any way. Like even if you can count going to the store as a hero's journey, right? Like you start at home, the calling to action is you running out of milk or something. The journey is you go into the store, you come back with the milk as like a changed man or whatever. Like I may or may not put the because I usually have one image of video, so I may put the hero's story image thing, like the hero's wheel, on the screen for the entire video, so you know what I'm talking about. But honestly, like doing anything from getting the TV remote and then going back to the couch can count as like a hero's journey, right? And the villain is always an obstacle to overcome. Again, that represents something like a turmoil inside or outside of someone. But what am I supposed to relate to? Because like again, the heroes versus villains makes it completely relatable for everyone in some way. What am I supposed to relate to here? Again, it just felt like they had a concept, they didn't flesh it out, like, and then it's just like they went and they made an entire show about it, and this is what we're stuck with now, because like there's so many good animators on this show, right? All for what? Like my opinion of the show goes down the more I record this video because I'm just thinking about it. Like, what were they doing? So, like, I have a question because if Kit and a Caboodle, which I got the joke just now, right? I got a Kit and Caboodle. But anyways, if our heroes successfully prevent like a game protagonist from defeating the villain, then like what now? Does the villain get just free reign, and the heroes unable to stop him? Like, what's the deal here? Do they convince both sides to put their arms down and to just be friends or whatever? Which I mean, wouldn't that also kind of like violate the like? Wouldn't that also roll the credits or whatever? Um, but like, what now? Like, I'm supposed to watch this, right? Like, oh, they succeeded. One side agreed to stop fighting. The other side agreed to stop fighting. Then that's that, right? And then we move on to the next. It's not interesting to watch. Like, what am I supposed to latch on to as a viewer? You know? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Like, anyway, that's actually all my thoughts. This is a fucking longer video than I thought it'd be. But yeah, that's all I have to say. That might be all I have to say about the show. I may not just watch the show. It's gonna be like Markiplier with Poppy Playtime, where it's like, I hope it's a good show. I won't be around to see it. But anyways, yeah. That's all I have to say. It's I feel like it's missed potential. Just a lot of wasted resources, to be honest. And I don't like saying that because I like not even like supporting indie animation. I like liking things, Like I don't like being overly critical about shit, but this is all stuff that I feel like needs to be said. Um, like yeah, but it's wasted. It's like Hazbin Hotel and the Helliverse is wasted potential, because and this is like wasted resources, right? I don't know. But I guess I still have the amazing digital ending to look forward to. Uh, but yeah, that's all I have to say. That's about it. See ya.